Hey, what's up? Looks like Sunday, June 9th. Um, my last video, or one of my last videos, I was talking about the internet and the economy, and I thought I'd add something on to the internet thing, which is really interesting. As I was saying in my last video, uh, from a musician's perspective, such as myself, there's so much to say about that, and I couldn't really put it into one video without having to break it up in pieces and do a bunch of editing and all that. And I like to, keep it all in one stream so I don't have to mess with it. Do a bunch of clipping and editing like you see in videos. It's just too much bull. But what came to my mind was um, how when I was first uploading a bunch of songs of mine onto the internet, and it just kind of what struck me is how disorganized it all really is. I mean, you could tell that nothing was really totally planned out um, on the internet or for the internet. People think maybe there's more organization than there is or whatever, but it's either one of the two. It's either it's not and nothing was really planned out at all, or it's organized. I still don't think it was really planned out, but or it's organized to the point of where it's a complete utter monopoly on the people, uh, to the point of where you can't rise above a certain status level unless you network with them, with people who are already at a certain level. Um, it used to be kind of where you'd get a little bit more exposure with things, um, and you could see that when there were services like YouTube when they first came along. And like I said, it could have been kind of fixed that way to where you'd think, oh, they're exposing some of these people, giving them exposure or whatever, and it all seems pretty fair. Then all of a sudden, you see the mainstream coming into the picture again with all the corporate market horror, execs getting in there and monopolizing everything and with their advertisements and all that stuff that you used to see in the mainstream without the internet, for those who go back that far, just TV or whatever, the same kind of stuff you just see on TV or hear on the radio, it's the same thing all over again. The internet I thought was supposed to be more of a thing where, people could get some kind of different types, diverse. It would be getting a lot more exposure in the mainstream. But what happens is you have all that stuff that's always been there. Those same groups and same individuals, and they get back, they get their foot in the door, and they throw money around, and then the next thing you know, it's back to the same thing. There's no there is no real the illusion of diversity is there again. I mean, it's monopolized. Um, One sure reason for me that where I could see that things were really disorganized though was when I first started uploading some of my songs to services like YouTube, what happened was um, I started getting these messages right away, like if I wanted it to be monetized, or if I wanted to make money off of whoever watches my videos and stuff, I would have to prove that I owned it. And I had codes, that I had gotten through the government, I believe they're a government organization. I'm not even really sure anymore. The ISRC type stuff, Library of Congress type stuff. And, you could send them that kind of information right there on YouTube after they say, well, we can't pay you for this, or we can't monetize this, or we can't allow this, or we can't allow that. In some cases, just delete your stuff, unless you prove that you own it. Is this yours? Did you do this? Who are the musicians? And in my case, I do everything. I do all the bass and guitar and drums and vocals, and I record it, and I make up the videos, and so it's kind of weird, but I know there's probably thousands more, like myself in that situation. I mean, I'm not some grand exception. you know. I see a lot of guys out there who are much more talented than me, and I see the same thing probably happening to them. When you go to a video and you see in 5 years a song that they created that's just totally kick ass, and it has like 400 views on it, and then you see this mainstream shit, this Vivo or whatever now, and you go to one of those videos and there's just tens of millions, now. I mean, a couple months back, like last year, they were all around, as far as I could see, like 7, 8, 9, 10 million. They got to be way over that now, I mean, so, as you can see, there are people there with mountains more talent, but the reason why um, things happen like that is because the way the mainstream is, the way they hire all these people to go around and um, just plaster their shit out there wherever they can. But that's kind of a side issue there. Besides the point, what I was getting at, and what I was getting at was the uh, the fact that there is no real reason you can totally prove when you've done something, and for them to uh, confirm it, to correlate, make some correlation to whether or not you did in fact do that, because it seems like services like YouTube, which is Google now, I think they bought them, or they probably were the same entity to begin with. Who knows? Nobody really ever will. Could be the government, like talk show people like Alex Jones, conspiracy theorists. No, I don't think so. So, anyways, he says he probably, it was probably all rigged from the beginning or whatever. But, anyways, so that's what makes me think, because it doesn't seem like there's any communication between things like the Library of Congress or the ISRC, and immediately YouTube is like, oh, you don't own it, and then they delete it, or they don't monetize you for it, they don't pay you for it, or whatever. There is no, what word am I looking for? There is no communication, or there's no correspondence, between those two. No networking, between if you register something officially through ISRC or the Library of Congress, and it has codes attached to it, It's your name and address and everything, even credit card information, stuff like that. They know basically everything about you. Then why is there no networking going on? That's the word I'm looking for, networking. Why isn't there any networking going on between these services and, copyright people? Why can they just delete your stuff? I don't want to sound like a dumbass trying to ask that question. Oh, why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? But they make you feel like a dumbass, and it's pretty pathetic, when they just send out automated emails that say, um, you know, you can't prove this, we can't prove this, it's gone, and it's this is kind of some kind of a robot sitting there telling me, I'm not valid, and maybe it is, if you bitch enough, you get a real person, but it seems like, it's the same thing. It's all pretty scripted. You can see if you highlight some of the same lines are in your email messages that you get. You search for them, you'll see other people who've gotten the exact same response and are experiencing the exact same type issue. So it's all pretty scripted, and it's like there's no communication. And here's kind of the trick of the tail with it. Um, Getting to the whole big picture here behind why I made this video is, um, it all makes you think, like I was saying before, that it's not organized, or that the mainstream it's really snaky. It makes you think that the mainstream really isn't in control and has monopolized all this. But the reality is, they were onto it and they knew about it, and it seems like there is a lot of control there because they just think that the average person is stupid. They just, because they want to maintain control, so they're going to play dumb in the beginning. That's my point, So going all the way back, to when things, just seemed really in its primitive stages, people probably thought, well, this isn't. There were some individuals out there who probably thinking, oh, this isn't that well put together, that well organized, and you know, this is going to be a piece of cake. But they probably already had it boxed up. They knew, and they were already networking with each other. And this is the weird thing, And I just said they were networking with each other. It's kind of like they play both sides of the coin, You think they're not networking with each other because because when they say, oh, you don't own this, but yet you registered it over here, to some government service, and there's codes attached to it, and they know who you are, and then these people over here who get the video that you're gonna see or watch or hear or whatever, watch and hear, audio, visual, blah blah. There is no, they don't have any way to cross reference. That's another word I'm looking for. I'm only on my first cup of coffee here. I kind of woke up about an hour ago. They're not really cross-referencing the data, networking, whatever. And if they are, well, I suppose they are in some instances because it's like it's so slow. It's like it's on God time or whatever, You can upload a song and just as long as it's networked with Amazon or I don't want to really get into names, but what's the difference? I can name a few, iTunes or those kind of people. Just as long as it's in their database, and then all of a sudden underneath the video a little link. So if you get it into their database, this is a little technical for like musicians kind of speak. If it gets into their database, some of these larger giant corporate moguls like that, if it gets into their database, then underneath your video, all of a sudden it'll show up. It'll say, Amazon, and it'll have a link to them to go buy it, of course, because they're going to make money off of it. And it's the same thing with iTunes. A little thing will show up. You've probably seen them underneath videos. So, yeah, just as long as it's in their database and they're going to make money off of it, and they're going to make money off of it, then the links will show up, and they'll send you this automated email that'll say, we recognize this. Are you sure you own it? And then, you say yes, and then automatically you do because it's in their database, But I don't know what's going on here. Are they ignoring the government? Are they these government organizations where you register and you get these codes through ISRC or the Library of Congress? You send them. You could send them the codes, and you could send them all your information, your name, who you are, your address. You could scan out your personal identification, but they want your driver's license, which is stupid. Why would you want my driver's license? What does that have anything? Does that have, and it shows your ID and everything, but they always say your driver's license, which I always thought was really stupid with things. Send us your driver's license. Why it's called a personal identification. There's a difference between a driver's license and a personal identification card. The states, in any state you go to, they will issue either or. It doesn't have to be a driver's license, but they always say driver's license. It just goes to show, summarize it all, how organized they really seem to be. Either that, or if they're just playing dumb. I guess that would be, in summary, this whole video. The whole point of this video here is, what is it? Are they just playing dumb, or are they really that dumb? Are they really that stupid, or are they really that disorganized? Little things like that, like those ID cards, just goes to show you they always ask for your driver's license. What the fuck does my driver's license have to do with it? It's called a personal identification card. There's a difference. Like I said, the state will issue either or. It says right at the top, your state. It has a picture, the same thing as like an ID. So these services really, technically, these services shouldn't be asking for your driver's license. It's called a personal identification card. And so, is it the fact that they don't know that, or are they just genuinely that fucking stupid? It's just things like that. When you see stuff like that, and these things where when you upload a video or whatever, and it's not cross-referenced, it can't be. They don't cross-reference it. They don't network. You give them your codes. Officially, registered through a what seems to be a government-related organization. Because some of the other services, if you get into their terms of service and all that, you'll see who they're networking with, who they seem to be networking with. Like the Library of Congress and all that. So, and you look up their databases or whatever, and you can see who owns what and all that. So, I don't understand why these services they automatically they network with the corporate people who are making the money, the record execs or online outlets, big huge online outlets, instead of the official databases. Is this just like all out anarchy? It's really weird. On the one hand, I don't want to get too long with this. Coming around 20 minutes again, like my other videos. I want to try to keep it right along in there somewhere. Starts to get to a half hour, and most people probably stopped listening a long time ago. But and I guess it's just so deep to try to get to the point I'm trying to make half the time. and there's just so much to say about it, and I could rattle on and on and on, and I just kind of lost my train of thought there with what I was talking about. Just they just don't. It doesn't seem like there's either no communication, or they're playing dumb, or it's a monopoly. And it's just like, why can't shit just be done right? You know, when is this anarchy or what? It must be. I don't know. It seems like the political stuff too. There's either a lot of corruption, or a lot of misinformation, or a lack of communication, or ugh. It's just it's completely chaotic, and you go and you look for answers out there, and there's zero organization, and everyone is bickering and debating and arguing in these forums about about shit, and nobody's really got the right answer. I don't even think they do, and if they do, they just give you this bullshit automated response. These services like, I don't want to name any names, yeah, but primarily what I'm talking about here is YouTube. But um, I'm sure there's gonna be there should be other video services, but now that it seems like it's all kind of more organized. If other services popped up, some other or video type services, where people get away from all that corporate shit, you know, and have their own little underground, that's that's what always happens, even in society. Everything goes underground, because they're trying to get away from the mainstream shit. Um, they just don't want to deal with all their market whoring and advertising, and throwing money around to monopolize. It just gets sickening. People just want. There are certain. I'm not gonna say people. I'm just gonna say maybe there are certain types of individuals, or groups of individuals. You can call them whatever, elitists or whatever. That makes them sound like bad people. Maybe they are, but but then there's different classifications of those elitists, and different categories, different types of people, blah blah blah, cliques or whatever, and they want to get away from all that. They want to keep it underground, or they want to attract attention on another level. They don't want to buff it all up and polish it all up to the point of where you have some French designer coming in there going, oh, we need to do this over here and that over there. I think, is that an English accent? Same thing. I can't stand those accents, but I'm not gonna rip on any foreigner people. Um, but before I totally shoot myself in the foot, as usual, I think I'll stop then. I think I've said enough about this. I try to keep it as organized as possible in my mind before I say. Well, I don't even. It's not, none of this is scripted. It's just like kind of rolls out. Pfft, whatever. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. The shit just kind of rolls out. It's just a bunch of blabbering or whatever. Um, doesn't make any sense to some people, and some other people, they just think it's like whatever. You know, this dude is whatever. Think what you want. Just trying to get a little point across to some people who may have experienced the same thing, or maybe people who don't know what the hell's going on with a guy like me, and maybe I'll post some more of that later. Uh, just don't. I just trying to get my stuff into the mainstream, um, without having to deal with their, you don't own this, or you gotta be part of our, huge monopoly. You know, it really sucks. So If we could maybe get away from those kind of people someday, that would be great. Alright, I'm at 25 minutes. I'll just post this for now. Alright, see ya.